Today, we'll bring you another installment from this season's Ultimate Riding Tour of the Catskill Mountains. After killing an evening in Binghamton, New York, Norm and I head north into the beautiful farmland of Madison County and discover Hatch Lake. And speaking of ultimate rides, later on, we'll step into the time capsule as we look at one very rare motorcycle, an early 70s Craig Vetter designed Triumph X75 Triple. Groovy, baby! Then we'll head out to the west coast, to the beautiful town of Duncan, BC on Vancouver Island, to catch up with rookie adventure rider Matt Fletcher as he gets a lesson in downhill brake control. Plus, over in the contest corner, Kylie will give us another valuable clue in our scooter contest giveaway. All this and more as TSN presents Motorcycle Experience. Hello and welcome to Motorcycle Experience, the voice of motorcyclists everywhere. I'm Dave Hatch, and this week we'll kick off our show by employing the skills of a veteran Canadian motorcycle journalist as we sample an all-new luxury adventure touring machine from the folks at Triumph. Behold the big brother to Triumph's hugely popular Tiger 800, the all-new Triumph Tiger Explorer. At the heart of this beauty is a brand new 1,251cc fuel-injected triple that sports fly-by-wire throttle control. As they say, there's no replacement for displacement, and that sweet big block is mated to a 6-speed transmission and shaft final drive, while the long travel suspension utilizes a 46mm adjustable fork, mounted up with twin 305 discs and 4-piston calipers, accessorized with switchable ABS. And speaking of electronic goodies, the Tiger Explorer's onboard computer also comes equipped with traction control, cruise control, dual trip computers, air temperature gauge, and a built-in frost warning system. All welcome tools when the pavement meets the gravel. Then there's the optional 3-piece hard luggage system that boasts over 90 liters of storage space. So now in the densely packed category of big bore adventure machines, how does this newcomer stack up? Well, here's veteran motorcycle journalist Larry Tate with the tale of the tape. So Larry, back in the day, before Motorcycle Experience, there was Motorcycle Rider.
There was indeed.
It's been a long time. But back then, I think the only adventure touring motorcycle you could buy was probably an old BMW
R100 probably, yeah, GS model.
Fast forward a few years now, man, there's like tons on the market.
Everybody seems to be making them. The original one was, I guess, the original adventure bike. It was designed for people who wanted to go long distances where there weren't maybe roads.
Yep.
Over the years, it became more and more popular with people who just liked the look, didn't necessarily want to go to Africa or South America or whatever, but they got interested in it because of the comfort. And as you say, everybody's making something along that line now, and this is Triumph's brand new entry to that genre.
Well, the Explorer is quite a thing, man. Watching you ride it today, I had a chance to ride it. It certainly, in my opinion, stands apart from a lot of the other bikes in this category.
The big thing that's different about this compared to the standard or with the normal kind of bike in this category is the multi-cylinder engine, I think.
Yeah.
Ducatis, BMWs, KTMs are all twins, flat or V-twins. This is an inline triple, which is Triumph's signature style of motor. It feels much more like a pure road bike engine, if you like, than the twins do.
Mm-hmm.
Triples are just different. They sort of combine, I've said this before, sort of combine some of the feeling of a twin with a four. Like they like to spin like a four does, but there's usually a lot of low down grunt. And this thing is definitely feels that way. It's got, I think, 135 horsepower is what they quote, and something like 90 foot-pounds of torque, which is the big number that matters for most people. And it's so flexible. You can run it down to 2,000 RPM in 6th gear and just roll the throttle wide open, and it just drives away. It doesn't stumble or stutter. It just hauls, you know. And when you get up into the higher RPM, 6, 7, it feels like a big monster Japanese 4. It just pulls. It really hauls. It's quite the engine. It really is.
How did you find the stopping power?
I would say good. Didn't have a lot of feel to the lever, but I don't know, you're talking about sport bike versus normal street bike thing. Compared to my old Bandit, it's fantastic. Compared to a brand new modern sport bike, maybe a little bit wooden, but it's really not bad. Good power. There's ABS at both ends, and unusually the rear brake is very, very strong. I mean, you can get the ABS activated just by stepping on the rear pedal, so you know there's a lot of brake going down there. Controls are quite light while we're talking about that. The brake is light, the clutch is light. Both levers are adjustable to 4 or 5 positions. I think 4 for the clutch and 5 for the brake. Very, very light throttle, as much as any bike I've ever had, as light as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And that's because it's all fly-by-wire stuff now. There's no actual throttle cable going to the injectors. It's all being done electronically.
Right.
And that's why there's so much electronics in the machine itself. If you turn this on, there's a million things that can show up in the dash, as you'll see when it comes up. And then there are 2 buttons over here on your left handlebar, both marked I for information. You can scroll through any number of different functions.
I found the mirrors were great for me with my wide shoulders.
Yeah.
Same for you?
Yep, the mirrors are excellent, I thought. I've heard other people say that they were okay. I thought they were way past okay.
Yeah.
I thought they're nice and clear, and like you, I found they give you a nice wide field of view. They're well above average to my mind.
Well, we talked about this a little earlier, that this bike is designed to go the distance, and I found the riding position, there's certainly a lot of room. That's a low saddle position we have right now. I found the bars were just a little kind of high for me. My shoulders were actually sort of carrying the weight of my arms at one point.
Yeah, I didn't notice that too much. I know exactly what you're saying, though. I spent a lot of time on a Ducati Multistrada recently, which has the same kind of fairly wide, fairly high bar. Didn't like it initially, but after riding it for a couple of days, I didn't even think about it again.
Now this bike, obviously, touring. They gave us the luggage with this particular model, and the Explorer has plenty of room in the luggage cases. What did you think of that?
They're big and square, which is a good thing. The more square they are, the easier it is to pack into them.
Yeah.
The top box actually has a 12-volt plug in there, so I guess you could charge accessories if you wanted, that kind of thing come with you. They come on and off quite easily. They seem a little bit loose to me, the way the mounts work, but I was doing some reading last night, and apparently that's deliberate. The idea being that if you have a lot of weight in the bags, if they can move a little bit, they're not going to influence the bike so much if you suddenly have a jolt or you suddenly turn it as much if there's a bit of give to the bags.
Right.
There's actually a bar underneath here that looks like a support bar toward the back of the bag that goes right across the bike, and it'll transfer loads back and forth apparently as one bag moves, it'll push the other one.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to make it have less effect on the bike.
Right. So there are a lot of bikes, as we said earlier, in this category, and Triumph has now stepped in a big way. Who is going to be the customer for this particular model?
Anglophiles, somebody who doesn't want a GS, thinks there's too many of them out there, somebody who wants the latest and newest electronics. Triumph is certainly by itself a very popular brand. It's got a history going back more than a century now of almost continuous production. And the modern bikes have been very good, very reliable, and people do enjoy riding them. They're just a different feel and experience to them.
Right.
Certainly the engine is part of that. Triples just feel different. So if you don't want a V-twin or a parallel twin, this is the bike to buy in that category. It's just a nice, comfortable bike with a honking motor that, if you want to go a long way for a holiday,
Yeah.
it's good.
Nice job, Larry. Thanks for joining us
Pleasure,
today.
yes. Good times
job.
as ever.
Thanks again, Larry. Great job. Next, we'll head back to sunny Duncan, BC, as 3-time Dakar competitor Don Hatton discusses how to slow your machine during downhill riding sections out on the trail. We'll also step back in time to examine a very rare factory special from Triumph that blew into the motorcycling scene in 1973. And Kylie will check in with another key feature in our Honda Journo scooter giveaway. Stay with us. Portions of Motorcycle Experience are brought to you in part by Honda Canada, BMW Motorrad, and Triumph Motorcycle. Closed captioning of Motorcycle Experience is brought to you by Motovan. Welcome back as TSN presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and it's time now to catch up with our rookie road rider, Matt Fletcher. This week he's back out in Duncan, BC with Don Hatton, and he's getting a lesson in brake control while riding downhill.
All right, Don. Last week was intimidating enough with the engine braking going down this hill. Now you want me to actually stop?
Well, Matt, I think that you're correct. The engine braking can be a little intimidating. You're not touching the brakes. It's instinctive to want to touch the brakes.
Yeah.
So today, actually, you should be happier because we're actually going to use the brakes. And in this drill, we're actually going to use the front and rear brake.
Okay.
So you have a lot more control. And the reason for this type of exercise is generally when you come across a hill like this, you already know about it. You've been doing the standing position. You've seen that it's a really intimidating hill.
Yeah.
So you probably have stopped. You've gotten off your bike, you walked down, you've checked out the hill, you've seen all the obstacles, and you want to use this method for a hill that's got say a creek bed at the bottom, or a rocky bunch at the bottom, or a bridge you have to go across.
Yeah.
Any kind of an obstacle, or possibly halfway down the hill we've got a drop, or a direction change halfway down the hill. So we're going to use both brakes,
Okay.
front and rear,
All right.
and the clutch, and we're going to control the flow of the bike down the hill. Have my weight back. I'm using the front brake heavily, back brake just to slow me down a bit.
Yep.
Then I'm going to release it here because we're into some obstacles, and then we're down. And if there was a bridge here, I'd have no problem making it.
Okay.
So we'll try that one more time.
Okay.
And then we got a bit of a drop here,
Yeah.
so we don't want to brake over the drop. We want to roll the drop, coming down. So if there was a bridge or a rock up here, I could change direction. I could come down, and I can make it over the obstacle. So it's a little difficult. This is a particular style of hill because
Yeah.
it's very, very loose shale and dry. So the bike really wants to take off. So the bike's it's a bit of work. And probably the hardest part about this hill on this type of bike
Yeah.
is you do have the ABS on. And so it does take a bit, you got to pay attention when you're doing this. You got to get a feel for the bike and know when to release the brake.
Okay.
So when you feel the front end starting to wash out on you, you want to release the brake a little bit. So you don't want the front end to turn under on you.
Right. Of course.
So I know you can do it. Grasshopper, I have full confidence in you. And let's face it, if you go down here way too fast, I'm sure Yamaha will let me keep the bike.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Don.
You're welcome.
Now there's still plenty more experience ahead. Next, after soaking up the site of Woodstock 69, Norm and I take a page out of one of the legendary Woodstock performers, Canned Heat's songbook. We're on the road again, and we're going up the country. Stay with us. Welcome back as TSN presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and it's time now for our 8th installment in this season's Ultimate Riding Tour Diary. Today, after resting our heads in Binghamton, New York, Norm and I decide to head north and explore Madison County just east of the Finger Lakes. Last fall, Norm and I rode east out of Toronto, looking to spend a couple of days exploring the Catskill Mountains located about an hour or so northwest of New York City. Our ultimate destination was the tiny town of Bethel, New York, the site of the famous Woodstock concert back in 1969. Last week, midway through day 2 into our trip, we explored the Woodstock site and eventually called it a day in Binghamton. Today, we kick off day 3 in our journey, and we're back in the saddle now heading north towards the Canadian border. Our goal is to reach Watertown by sundown. But first, ma'am, we've got a full tank of gas, sunny skies, empty roads, and dark visors. Let's roll. Well, Norm, we've been following the Otsellic River all morning, and I believe this is the Otsellic River Valley behind us. And what a beautiful view, a beautiful sky, just a beautiful start to the day, although it was a little chilly.
A little chilly, and we couldn't actually see the valley when we started because of all the fog, you know, but it's October, and that's kind of weather you can get in this time of year.
Yeah, well, when we woke up this morning in Binghamton and started out on the bikes, it was flashing 0 there for about 45 minutes, so it was a chilly start.
But as you said, if you've got the proper gear for it, you know, when you're riding in this time of year, the heated vests and heated grips and heated seats on the bikes have been just perfect, and made it that much more enjoyable in that chilly morning.
Absolutely. Now, you know, keeping with our making it up as we go along, we actually changed plans overnight. We woke up in Binghamton, and we decided that we would stay to the sort of east of 81, and so as a result, we went up 12. We took 41 and then jumped on to 26, and the roads so far have been just great.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of what we thought too, is we've been really lucky on this side of 81, and we figured let's just stick to it because we know what we're getting into. But you know, today we're going to stick to all the black and gray roads on the map, and go up 26 ultimately to our destination this evening, but gives us the opportunity all day long to just branch off at any time we want, because we have no real plan today other than just ride.
Well, the ultimate destination is Watertown, and I don't know, where the 26 so far looks to be the squiggly line of choice. But let's talk about that chilly start to the morning. I mean, at this time of year, again, no traffic on the roads, beautiful fall colors, but you do have to be a little cautious when it's that icy. I mean, we got up this morning, there was frost and ice on the saddles, and like you said, it was foggy. The roads, you got to be a little careful, right?
There's always potential for black ice when you're in those situations, so we took it easy. You know, even as beautiful as the road was, you kind of had to back off a little bit, but not anymore. It's a big sunny day now, and looking forward to the ride today.
Think it's going to warm up? Look at that view.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning.
Beautiful, yeah.
So great roads, got a great destination ahead of us. Let's continue this ultimate ride.
Let's go.
Now let's turn our attention to this season's contest giveaway. How would you like to win the keys to your very own Giorno? Well, here's Kylie to tell you how.
Thanks, Dave. Because we've been getting a lot of interest in scooters from viewers all across Canada, we thought we'd hold a contest where you could win my cool new Honda Giorno scooter. Here's how the contest is going to work. Each week, we're going to answer some viewer mail about scooters, and you need to remember the subject. So this week, we have an email from Mario Tremblay from Sherbrooke, Quebec. He asks, I don't know a thing about turning a wrench. Are scooters tough to maintain mechanically? Listen, this ain't your daddy's old two-stroke scooter. Sure, new scooters have scheduled maintenance just like cars, but seriously, get your dealer to change your oil every fall and you should be good to go. So that's it. Scooters are very low maintenance. Great stuff. So that's this week's contest key feature. Maintaining a scooter is easy on the wallet. Now let's get right down to the nuts and bolts. How to enter the Keys to Kylie's Scooter contest. All you have to do is surf the Motorcycle Experience website and click on the Kylie's Keys link. Provide us with 3 key features or reasons for owning a scooter. Remember, every week I'm going to be giving you a key feature and you only need 3. So send those in and you'll be instantly entered into the draw to win the keys to my scooter, a brand new 2013 Honda Giorno. Pretty cool deal, guys. So we'll be drawing a winner in a few short weeks and we'll announce who gets the keys to a brand new scooter on our last show of the season. So good luck, everyone.
Next, we'll head down to the amazing Barber Museum in Birmingham, Alabama, to take an up-close and personal look at a rare motorcycle that certainly defines early 70s style. Stay with us. Portions of Motorcycle Experience are brought to you in part by Honda Canada, BMW Motorrad, and Triumph Motorcycle. Welcome back as TSN presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and we'll wrap up our show now by taking a closer look at a very rare 1973 Triumph X75. This air-cooled 740cc triple-cylinder motorcycle was created as a factory special edition back in the early 70s. Triumph was under increasing pressure from the likes of Honda and Kawasaki, so they tasked fairing designer Craig Vetter with creating the X75's glass fiber bodywork to make the bike more appealing to the American motorcycle consumer. The result? Well, some say this is the very first production cruiser. Barber Museum technical consultant Brian Slark picks up the story in this week's Triumph Time Capsule.
This is a very unique motorcycle. While enthusiasts like the performance of the Trident, a lot of the styling was, in the United States anyway, was regarded as rather stodgy. It was a kind of British plain styling and they wanted something a little bit more exciting. So a Triumph in America went to Craig Vetter, who was a stylist, a customizer, and said, rework this motorcycle, make it into a kind of a mild custom. Craig came up with this motorcycle and he called it the X75 Hurricane, and it was built on a very limited number. I think the dealers got one each, and he just transformed the looks of the motorcycle with the one-piece gas tank and seat, slim. The exhaust system is very, very distinctive, and now these motorcycles are really highly collectible. There's one feature on it that is hard to fake one of these motorcycles. It's the only 3-cylinder that has extended cylinder head finning. The finning is wider on this motorcycle and it gives like a beefier, masculine appearance. And it's just the color, the striking color, and the exhaust system, features on the motorcycle that make it very, very special, very distinctive, and very exclusive. There's not very many of these around. The platform was a standard Triumph, the Trident, and Vetter made a prototype. They sent it to England, and they modified it a little bit to make it easier for assembly, easy to produce, but a vastly different motorcycle than the 1969 version of the Trident. You'll notice the motorcycle's pretty bare. You don't see any mirrors sticking up in the air or turn signals. It's a very clean, stylish motorcycle. Minimal, very small gas tank, not very practical, but it looks good. The exhaust system is totally unique. Very much copied, but it's unique to this motorcycle, and I think that emphasized the 3-cylinder engine layout perfectly. If you followed this motorcycle and you saw the 3 mufflers, you knew what it was immediately. The gas tank is narrower than the motor, so sometimes your knees would be on the engine, which would be a little bit uncomfortable. But I think this thing is all about style and looks and flash. If you had one of these in the window, it will be a magnet, because everybody was customizing motorcycles. They were throwing off all the stock pieces and they wanted something that was very distinctive and very unique and very personal. If you go to an auction today, this is still brings more money than any other Triumph of its time, of the era.
Well, without giving away too much about my age, back in 1973 when I was in high school, that was one cool motorcycle. Anyway, till next week, keep your feet on the pegs and your right hand cranked. Bye for now.